everybody! Welcome back to Basic Binges, part of Nom Talk Network. So, on this show, we review popular shows that are out now while eating and drinking our favorite binge worthy snacks and drinks. And don't forget to redeem those channel points. There's a lot of fun ones, so go at it. I am your host, Yaya, and right now I think it's just still tea, oolong tea. I love tea. I'm a tea drinker. Um, and I am eating. It's pretty simple. It's just cucumber and chicken and rice. But I am joined by amazing guests tonight. So introduce yourselves and what are you nominating on today? So start with you, Mike, since you were here last week.
Yes, I missed last week. Sorry, I was caught in traffic. But I'm Michael Lee. I'm a writer for That's It LA. We Live Entertainment and the Nerds of Color. And I am nomming on because I saw Joyride the other day, and there was one of the characters was eating a bag of chips with chopsticks. So I'm just doing that. And I have water to wash it all down that saltiness, I guess. So yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. And Kenji, introduce yourself and what you are snacking on.
Hey everybody, I'm Kenji, also known as the Kenjinator. I am nomming on some Jelly Bellies here. I got a few in my hand, but I got the big old there we go. There's the bag. And I got myself a can of Canada Dry.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited to nom and talk about these two episodes.
There you go.
No, agree. So today we are talking about episode 5 and 6 of American Born Chinese, which you can find on Disney Plus. And I gotta say, ball's finally rolling. Things are starting to actually come together. It's because we talked about this last week. It was kind of slow. It was slow for the first 4 episodes, and it just seemed like nothing was really happening. And then now, I guess we're just gonna get exposition in the last 4 episodes, so that's gonna be fun. But anyways, so let's talk about how you guys felt about these 2 episodes in relations to how the last 4 went. So, like, Mike, we can start with you since
Yes. These 2 episodes, I'm glad we're getting more into the parental dynamics, because we're seeing what the Jane's father and mother are like. How they're Jin's kind of not feeling, or how do I put it, not living up to his potential, I guess. And we got the mother who's trying to push him, but she's kind of tired of him not following through, basically. And I feel like there's so much content in this one comic that they're trying to spread out to do too much in so little time. And I'm like, where is it? And you guys were mentioning this earlier, but for me, I felt that fatigue early on, and I'm still feeling it as we go on further into these episodes. Like, where's this going? How is this coalescing, really? Because you want to tell Jin's story, and you want to tell I forgot the Monkey King's son, but you want to tell his story as well. Yeah, wei-chen.
Yeah.
Wei-chen. Yeah, now I remember. Thank you. Wei-chen's story. And then you got, the bull demons thing, and then you got Jin's parents, and then you got Jin's, his own path. So it's not really mixing together for me. And I'm just like, what's going on? How many stories do you really want to tell? And just like, I wish there was one kind of linear focus, or they had one, or just 1 or 2 directors, because there's a lot of directors, different, so there are different voices, basically, and with different voices, with different writers, there's no cohesion. It felt like there was no collaboration with any of them at all. So yeah.
No, agree. Definitely agree. I think I did talk about this last week, how everything just felt, I just said there's too many storylines. There was just too many going on, and it's only an 8-episode season. That's a lot to just smush in. And yeah, as I said, you have all these flavors, and it's just not, yeah. But Kenji, how about you?
I'm definitely feeling the same thing, where I feel like some of these episodes are a little, I feel like they're kind of bloated in a sense, just because I feel like there's just, I'm not saying that we need to cut any storylines or anything like that. I just feel like there's a lot of ways to convey certain story arcs without having to waste so much time with like these other things. Like I'm just gonna already cut. I can already cut 10 minutes out of the first episode right now just thinking about it. You don't have Jin trying out for soccer tryouts. He's already in the soccer team. He's already on the soccer team, and he still does the thing where he tries to take the guy's head off, and he gets kicked off the team. But we have a nice little moment where that same episode, without having to go beyond episode 2, where you could just keep that whole thing where like there's the whole talk with the dad, like needing to talk to his boss, the whole thing, but like running parallel with the idea of Jin talking to his coach and just convincing him, hey, put me back on the team, kind of thing. Like you can still do it. It's just really bloated, and I feel like there's so much that's being told, and it's like, well, now we're at episode, we're now at episode 5 and 6. We only have 7 and 8 left. Like
I wonder.
there's only 2 episodes left, and there's so much more story that needs to be told.
Agreed.
Is how I feel.
Yeah, I just
feel like
wonder if they would
yeah.
have benefited from more time rather than treat it like a sitcom episode. Because it feels like it's like a 30-minute runtime. It's like, oh, there's a lot of story, and then they condense it, but it is what it
agreed.
is. So
very much agreed. And I think we said this before, like this is kind of seems like what Disney does in general. Disney sets up a lot of build up, and then you just have exposition and like climax and resolution in like the last episode, and sometimes it just doesn't work the best with how they want to tell the story. That's just what I feel. But yeah, so in this episode, episode 5, we have Wei-chen returning. You find out that he was gone for like only a couple hours in his time, but he was gone for a month in our time. And Wei-chen, like, I'm sorry, but Wei-chen is so fickle. Like he was so like gung-ho about it before, and now just because he's like biology partners with Amelia, he's like, I don't think I can help you anymore. After the fact that like Wei-chen helped him like get the golden cleats with the whole like TPing the bear. I'm just sorry, Jin's kind of a terrible friend. And let's see, and then but we do get an introduction. Well, it's not really an introduction because we did see this character in episode 4, but only very briefly. But we get the introduction of Jigong, played by Ronnie Chang, and that's really interesting. So we found out that like after getting drunk in like heaven, he gets kicked off and banished to Earth, and then now he's living as a drunk in like the human world. Again, I think I've always talked about this every single episode, that I'm miffed with how they portray gods. And I think this one really killed me because Qigong's actually one of the deities I do worship. And to see like him portrayed like that, as like super jaded, super like angry, and ends up being like kind of an a-hole, I was not very happy about that. But I do like how Ronnie Chang did portray his character like as a character. I think Ronnie Chang did a very good job, and especially for someone who was like, I've only known him as a comedian. I love that Netflix show that he's all like, Chinese people love money so much. We have a god of money. Like that's like my go-to like spiel for Chinese New Year. But anyways, but then we do get more exposition. Finally we get like more information about that stupid 4th scroll. Because prior to this, we just had like, 4th scroll, Wei-chen gets a dream, Crane, and he comes here after stealing his dad's like weapon, his little boomstick. But finally now we get like, apparently Jigong has been trying to find like the 4th scroll like from millennia, and he's the one telling like Wei-chen like what he needs to do. I thought this was kind of a cheat, like way to move the plot. What do you guys think, Kenji?
I actually got kind of confused in that regard because it was one of those like, I felt like it was like a detail where it was like, we actually didn't need this detail. It actually works so much better as a divine intervention sort of like vision that comes into Wei Chen's mind. Like I feel like that is a much more, and for me personally, a much more appealing idea than just to be like, it's like it's the best way to describe it is it's the Vince McMahon WWE reveal. You know, like everyone, we were building up all this stuff with like who's the person, who's the hooded person, who's the hooded figure that's been running things behind the scenes. Like even Vince McMahon was like victim at one point, but then like the hood comes off and he just goes, "It's me, Austin." It's like so much buildup and it's no payoff, and that's kind of
Mhm.
how it feels like. Is there's so much build up with the idea of I had this dream, I had this vision, I need to do this. You can't keep following your dream. You can't just follow this just because it's a dream. But no, you don't understand. It's this vision means something, and then just be like, oh no, I've been influencing this like the entire time. I've been the little puppet master. It's like I don't like it. I think it's kind of I don't know. It's lame. It's very
No,
Emperor
yeah.
Palpatine, and I think it's lame.
Mm.
Oh, that yes.
And also, I was like, what the inclusion of the drunken fist thing too. I was kind of like, really, you really had to go there as well. I'm like, anyways, Mike, what did you feel about this whole? Like, oh my gosh, suddenly, like, here I am, like, apparently, like, I am your true God. I am the one that's gonna tell you everything that's gonna go on from now on. How did you feel?
Yeah, I felt that was so forced. Yeah, it wasn't an organic part of the story. It just seeing how these things are, they try to advance the plot of the film of the show. It's just not really clicking with me so far because it's so heavy-handed and it doesn't do any. Again, this goes about to the whole idea of there's just too much going on at once, and I don't spend enough time with these characters for me to care about, what's happened to them, or why are they on this journey, or why are they so mad because they got banished. It just doesn't work for me. So yeah.
No, I agree. At this point, like, I have no connection to these characters other than like me personally is the parents because I am like I'm American born Chinese as well. Like, that's the only connection I feel towards these characters. But other than that, like, I honestly don't really care for these characters much or like feel like, oh my God, like, I hope everything's okay, that kind of thing. So I
Right, right.
agree. I agree. It's just, it's like, I don't know. It's like those geese for far like for what was the frog like the liver where they're just stuffing them full of things so they can get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fatty
yeah.
liver. I feel like this is us right now. We're the geese.
Because we're supposed to eating, so yeah, we're thinking.
They're just forcing everything down and we're just developing a fatty liver for this show. Anyway, um I did want to say earlier, but I love the what I loved about this episode was the fact that I knew exactly where the restaurant was filmed because
Yes.
it's in San Gabriel. If you guys want to go visit it, it's an amazing, amazing dim sum restaurant, Valley Boulevard. It is right across from 888 Seafood. So if you guys are in LA, my hairdresser is also in the same plaza. So shout out to like Pauline, I love you. Um, or like Shalom Falang, I love you guys. They've cut my hair since I was like 2 years old. Oh no, actually no, they were there since I was born. Never mind. Anyways, um, but
That's,
yeah,
that's
no,
loyalty right there.
it
The
is.
loyal customer.
I
Yeah.
am. I yeah. So like, I had a huge crush on her son when I was a kid. Anyways,
That's a whole other thing.
I know it's a whole other thing, but we get more exposition. We get like the whole, oh yeah, so apparently part of the whole Force scroll is that it has to come from like two feuding families that have been fighting for generation because like, humans love war. And I totally agreed with that line a lot.
Mhm.
But it's only with their the cohesiveness of like or the end of the feud that like the Force scroll will come out, and then we get like a hint. It's like, oh, Jin's mom is wearing a jade, and suddenly there's another piece of jade, and wow, this must be the Force scroll. I personally don't understand how this conclusion came to be. Like for like wei-chen be like, yeah, no, your necklace, it's so pretty. It has to be like I'm sorry. And in the episode, he's like, yeah, like, they're like feuding sides, just like your mom and dad. I'm like, well, I guess you must not be really Chinese because all like Chinese mom and dads feud all the time. All parents feud all the time. But anyways, again, how did you guys feel about like this sudden like, or like I personally I don't like it. I did not like the whole like, oh my gosh, it's a jade piece. It must be the thing. I feel like it was just so out of the ballpark. How about you, Kenji?
Um, it seemed very lucky coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
And while I understand that there can be some sort of there can be some, you know, there can be hints of coincidence that, but it has to like make sense. It has to work for the plot, or it's not so like ridiculously over the top, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a, oh, that's sure convenient kind of thing. Like it like it's like the rat in Endgame, it's like
Mm.
that's sure convenient, but it's but so like that's just how I felt about it. I felt like like I said, there's so much other things that are bloated in this story that I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there is a much more coherent way to like explain all of this. Like, let's actually see the whole dream. Like that would be
Yeah,
great.
we've
Let's
never
see
Yeah.
the
seen the
dream.
dream,
Let's
huh?
see the dream. Like we keep hearing about it. Sounds like a really cool dream. Like
Oh my god, I didn't even notice that we've never seen Wei-chen's dream. Oh, I'm pissed now. I'm pissed now. Yeah, but okay, how about you, Mike?
Yeah, I feel like we could have gotten little hints of this, like the Jade piece at least. It's like, oh, they kind of turn to it, or they kind of focus on it. They linger in the previous episode, so that means it's important. All of a sudden, they just drop this on. It's like, okay, that's like Kenji said, it's kind of convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can accept a little bit of convenience and childlike naivete because it's like, oh, I believe in this piece, like, but come on, let Wei Chen at least like have this kind of level of, he wants to believe, but he's also kind of skeptical. Like, let's he puts so much faith into this one piece. Is like, come on,
Right?
don't do it. Don't do it.
Right. And the fact that okay, so I was gonna ask this question, when it gets to that scene where like Wei Chen has the jade and then like Jin is like give it here and he's like no it's important and then like Wei Chen wouldn't give like and give it back. Whose side were you on? Because I understand the whole like oh like sacrificing for like the good of the universe kind of like BS, but at the same time I'm like dude that's kind of a dick move.
Yeah, that was a dick. I was gonna say, yeah, dick move is better than shady move. That's a
Yeah,
dick move.
I
Yeah.
was like I tried to find a best way to say it, but I'm like no that's kind of
Oh,
mood.
that's basically what it is, honestly. But yeah, like I was saying before, there was no connection to whatever, and I could empathize with Jin more because like
Mm-hmm.
that's the family heirloom. And you guys
Right.
just drop this whole thing that it is an important piece all of a sudden. Like, how so? Why should I care? I mean, I need a
Yeah.
reason for myself to care about this one piece to help Wei Chen's quest. But
Mm-hmm.
since you didn't give me any of that information and you just dropped it out of thin air, it's like, no, I'm gonna side with Jin.
Mm-hmm.
I want Jin to have that piece. So yeah.
What about you, Kenji? Whose side were you on during that argument?
Jin's obviously like you have to be kind of a sociopath to kind of be siding with Wei Chen, honestly.
Like, again, I understand. Like, I want
Yeah,
to
so
know. Yeah.
this belongs to your mom. I know this belongs to your mom and your dad, and this is like a family heirloom,
You have to believe
the
me.
thing.
Like,
But like I just like took it, like I stole it. It's cool though, right? Like it's like nah, dude. Like
I need it.
just ask, just ask. But you weren't around,
Oh,
and
okay. So that part,
I
I'm actually
think
was okay with him dropping in at his family's place. So I do that to my Like, I think that's kind of an Asian thing. If you're so close to like a Chinese family, you just drop in. You don't need your friends. Just be like, "Hi, ayi hao, shu hao." But anyways, but yeah, like, what were you gonna say?
no. I exactly. I was just exactly agreeing with Kenji. It's just, I stole it, it's cool. I'm gonna go now. See you later. Basically.
As I said, I get the whole like, oh, sacrifice it for greater good, but as you said, Mike, like I don't care enough for it. Like the greater good. Like it's just like also the fact that like they say that, oh, like no one wants gonna be a rebellion and like the whole Jade Emperor and that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I actually don't feel that urgency. Like I don't have that
Yes.
sense of urgency. And I've noticed that. But
That's a
anyway,
good point.
right?
Yeah.
And then so we get to the karaoke. The karaoke's fun, and then just saying that I'm just gonna say Sweet Caroline is not a go-to karaoke song for old Chinese ladies. I'm just gonna put it out. If you want it to be accurate, it has to either be Carpenters or ABBA. Anyway.
Oh.
ABBA, yeah.
ABBA, yeah, like Dancing Queen.
Oh yeah, Dancing Queen for sure. Like I feel like that
we
one.
have the Mamma Mia soundtrack.
That's a universal. I was gonna say that's a universal one. It doesn't matter what race you are. Mamas love all the mamas love ABBA.
Right? Yes. The second song was a really good song. My mom actually sings that song on karaoke. So when that happened, I was actually singing along like anyways. But we do actually have like a conflict now with the mom and dad is actually growing. We find out that dad's quitting his job because Pat, oh my gosh, Pat, 1 year Pat got the promotion. And mom spent half of their savings on the green stuff. I thought there would be
It's
more.
not drugs.
It's not
drugs.
Not drugs. Yeah, let's clarify to all.
No, it is green... drugs. We talked about it. She's a drug dealer at this point. She's drug dealing.
She's hustling that stuff.
Yeah, she's drug dealing to all the church ladies.
That primo ginseng.
Yes,
I mean, she's got the whole Jesse Pinkman mentality, going to the AA meetings instead of dealing it up everywhere else.
But I personally thought it would have been more of a consequence of like her getting in trouble, as opposed to just like, oh, it's financial issues with the family. Like they set it up like to like it, I thought it'd be more, but again, as we said, it just feels like they're just stuffing too many things into one pot, and it's just nothing's being cohesive at this point. But yeah, and then we end, of course, with, I really like that ending. We get that introduction to Jamie, because it's K, oh my god, I can never pronounce his name.
Key, right?
Key, is it Key? I see my
Hui, yeah. Ki Huan.
Ki Hui Kwan.
Ki Hui Wan. Yeah.
See, my Vietnamese is only fluid regarding food. So but yes, we actually finally get an introduction to his character, not Freddie Wong, but to Jamie, the actor who plays Freddie Wong. And dear Kenji, you called it. In the first episode of Basic Binges, you're like, I would like to see him, like, come, like, do something else instead of just being Freddie Wong. You called it. How did you feel calling it?
I felt really happy that he was doing something other than that, because like I mean, it's really interesting. This is kind of like a life imitates art, or art is imitating life. No, life is imitating art. Actually, yeah. Life is imitating art. Yeah, that's what happened first. But yeah, it's like it's very interesting. I feel like it would be a very vulnerable place to go as an actor, because you're essentially playing the part of you. Essentially, just it's like, yeah, I have been able to get an Oscar and I've been able to do all these other things, but I was just kind of doing this stuff basically for a while, and just enjoying my residual checks, I guess. Like, so for him to like, it's interesting for him to. I think it's mad props for him. Like, I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, episode 6, it was we got to see more of him stuff too, but I'm hoping that if this does go for. I haven't seen 7 and 8 yet, but I'm hoping that if this goes further, that we really get to see more of him. But of course, a part of me is now also going, okay, who is he in regards to this entire story? The story is already bloated. Who is this character, and what is his point in this entire thing?
I completely agree. Like, I love the inclusion of it, but at the same time, it's like, why are you stuffing me? Why are you feeding the geese more? Why are you stuffing the geese more? How about you, Mike? How did you feel about having that ending? That, because when I saw it, I didn't expect it. I was kind of like, what's going on?
I didn't expect it either. And as Kenji said, it's nice to see, an actor, I guess, go from I don't want to say fall from grace, but he's just like more of a humble person, I guess. He put that life behind him because um got everything else that we know about the industry, just how they treated people of color. So we see him in more of a as a human basically. But other than that, like you were saying, it just came out of left field ending. And it's like, okay, that's nice. We get these small little things, and I want to know um, his whole reaction to uh, his current situation. How has he embraced that? And since it just kind of drops it in the middle of that, there's no exposition of any sort other than he seems happy, and then that's totally great for me. But I just want to see how he's come to accept that situation, basically.
Yeah. No.
Instead of just like here, like, okay, why should I care? So
actually, I think at this point, I care more about Jamie than I care about all the other characters in the show. And he's only been on for 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We
Yeah,
get
there's a battle
small
between
little bites. It's like, why?
Oh yeah, there's a battle between demons and gods. Oh yeah.
It is like Jamie, because the thing is, Jamie seems more like a realistic character and a sympathetic character because that's what we go through real in, like, like day to day, everyday life. This is what we as POC go through in the industry, and so that's why it makes us care, and he just makes us care. While everyone else is like, ha ha ha, like scroll, like Amelia, like green stuff,
soccer.
soccer.
I mean, yeah. I would say that, like, I feel like we could have still done an American-born Chinese show. Like, I feel like that character of the dad should have been Jamie. Like, yeah, there's a way that you could have like worked it in together, so that way it's like I feel like it would even be worse to be the son of the kid.
I think so too.
A son of the guy that says that catchphrase. So then to be having that following you,
I like that.
Not just your dad and you. I mean, I feel like that would be a much bigger reason to take a dude's head off.
Oh my god, yes. And then like that like meme of him like hitting thing would have been much more impactful other than being the whole racist thing. Would have added more to that, more depth other than just playing the racist card.
In the fat off the story.
Woo! Oh my gosh, like dang.
I mean, I feel like we would be jumping very far from the comic books at that point, but it seems like we are already as it is.
It's already.
I know, yeah. I mean, there's adaptations, so that's the whole point. But I like that idea, and as long as you have the whole heart of it, it will work for me.
And the thing is, it would have pushed, other than the whole ABC thing, it would have pushed him away from his culture because of like, the what could go wrong. It's like, I don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh well.
Anyways, so yeah, so like
we're just
is there something happy we can talk about?
Joe, oh
my gosh, show get happier, please.
Right? Let me go in the comments. Q Ball's all like, hey y'all, and Nom Talk's like, hi Q. Q Ball says, Nom Talk Network, did you saw my new video yet? It's from the Open Jam. It was so much fun. Nom Talk Network says, I haven't had a chance to check videos yet. Oh no, Q, I didn't see this. I'm so sorry. But Q said it's all good. And Q did redeem Hydrate. So let's hydrate really quick, guys, for Q. Q, thank you so much for redeeming Hydrate. I'm so sorry. We just got lost in our conversation. Hydrate!
I'm drinking an invisible can.
Woo! It's so calm. Thank you again, Q, for redeeming Hydrate. And Q says, hey, Yaya. Hi, Q.
Yeah, these ruffles are so salty, so I need it.
Oh, yes, I know. I feel that. We're old. We can't have too much salt anymore. Anyways, I feel so old watching this show, not gonna lie.
I'm more nitpicky now. Like I can usually be more forgiving, but like, oh god.
Like no, I also relate more to the parents than the kids now, and I'm like, okay, like my bones are creaking. Okay. Anyways, then we go to episode actually no, we did get a fighting scene. Wait, I should say wei-chen gets the necklace back, and then like you get the scene where ji gong was like looking at this like a little hot dog thing from the little magic trick, and then you hear normal Wong's like voice, and then we cut to the Jamie part, then we cut to the next episode. Next episode starts with so Jin and wei-chen had a huge fight because Jin's all like, why'd you steal from my family, man? Why'd you come to my family just steal our stuff? And I'm just like, I know. And then we also get an introduction to Lady, well, not really introduction, but like a better view of Lady Rocky, Shujin Yanyang, which is played by Kenji's friend,
Stephanie.
right?
Stephanie
Shu.
I mean, I don't want to say friend. I would say like, we did theater in high school, which was a long time ago.
Just say friend. Friend is a nicer way of saying like,
we are
acquaintance.
Acquaintance.
Yeah,
we are friendly acquaintances.
Okay. I loved her character. I love that hustle. Because I get it. The whole like, oh yeah, no, they're not for sale. Like, and there's all like 5,000, like what was it? 50,000. And she's like, oh,
she kept raising the price, yeah.
Right. And it's like how she's like, oh, my and then she pulls out a drawer and puts out another one.
It's just all replicas basically.
I love that. I think as of that episode, I was like, you know what? I admire that hustle. I admire that hustle.
I look at that and I'm like, was this whole hustle? I wish we had more of this. And yeah.
Right? Oh my gosh. So
this comedy was missing.
We could only afford these actors for so long.
There you go.
We can only get Jimmy O for one day, okay?
I know.
This is what happens when you don't spread out more. That's why we have this problem.
Like James Hong was only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but we get an introduction to Lady Rocky. She calls herself Lady Rocky, but it's Shujin Yanyang. And then we find out that like, oh, like with her, she also has a mythical beast called the Picho, which apparently got turned into a little Yorkshire Terrier because it was just pooping in the Jade Emperor's pond. And I'm like, and then apparently, I love that joke that the butthole got sealed.
Yes. I was like, whoa, really? They went there for a Disney show. That's nice.
But I loved it. I think this episode probably is the funniest for me out of all the other ones.
I have to agree.
So of course we get like Guan Pusa brings the necklace to Lady Rocky to make see like, oh, is it a celestial stone? Is it actually the fourth scroll? And can I just say like the fact that Guan Pusa was like willing to sacrifice that Jade thing just to see if it's the fourth scroll without having a backup plan to like compensate like Jin's family. Like, why couldn't you had like Lady Rocky make a replica and like return it to the family? I thought that was kind of rude. What do you guys think, Kenji?
I mean, I definitely love the scene, how it played out. Like overall, like I absolutely loved it. I mean, I definitely do feel like a lot of these gods kind of play things a little fast and loose. Like for the goddess of compassion, she's not very compassionate. But she seems very I'm not gonna lie, she kind of acts like she's got the blinders on, where she's just like, yes, we're doing our thing, and
because apparently she can't interfere. She's not supposed to interfere.
I am the watcher. I cannot interfere, but like I will interfere in everything. I will actually interfere in so much. I will cause so much problems.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I feel the goddess of compassion is more of the auntie, because she's like, I'm here, but I'm not going to discipline you because that's your dad's job. So
I'm the cool auntie that doesn't get
I'm the cool auntie that I'll give you stuff. I'll give you a home. I'll give you food and everything like that. I'll give you this sweetest furniture, but I'm not going to discipline you.
Yeah, I'm just going to let you do what you want to do and just go do it. Consequences are your own. And then, okay, so we get, also we find out that, so Jin's parents are actively fighting at this point. They're like actively like, arguing and that kind of stuff. And poor Jin, being the only child, is trying to reconcile his parents, like their relationship. And I at this point I felt so bad because I'm also a child of divorce. So seeing that, like trying to see him like fix their relationship, I was like, oh no, you poor child, you're not gonna help. Stop, and you're gonna make it worse. But what'd you say?
I was gonna say I do have to commend his, kind of, how do I put it? Not, I don't want to say creativity, but he kind of
His attempt.
His sly attempt to make his parents reconcile. I don't know if it was this episode or was it the other episodes? The other. It was this episode. Yeah. So he does it in a way where he could be in kind of a control of it because he obviously puts them in that kind of path. But I respect that what he did because he knew he couldn't get them together like with him, but so the only way he could do it is just kind of plant the seeds, like my mom wants to talk to you, or my dad wants to talk to you, sort of thing. So yeah,
I also think that this is a common Disney trope, and I think that they made fun of it is because you see it in a lot of like old Disney shows where like the parents are finally fighting and then the kids like plan something, they do something similar, and everything works out in the end. I kind of like that it didn't, because like it's in a way calling out that trope. It's all like,
yeah.
How about you, Kenji? Any comments?
Well, I mean, I think this was also a very interesting moment of it was very it's a very Western way of thinking. I feel like the way that Jin tried to reconcile his parents, and his parents are very, they're from the old country. They have those cultures. Like
Jin probably watched a lot of Disney shows.
Wait, does our son think that this is a Disney show? Because like this is not how
that would have been so meta. Then they should have gone that route.
That would have been so good.
That would have been funny. Other than the what was it, the like drunk like Chinese Jack Sparrow joke, they could have been this.
Oh gosh.
And then so Jin, we find out that it's Jin's birthday, and there is since we're not talking about, there is mentions of food, there was mentions of noodles. I think this is something that really glosses over anyone who's not Chinese, because eating noodles on your birthday is very important in Chinese culture. Yes, we eat longevity noodles. Like my birthday was just this Sunday. So like my mom was all like, thank you, I am old now, thank you. But yeah, so like when I saw that, I was all like, hey, same, longevity noodles. My mom's like, what do you want to eat? I'm like, I want noodles. She's all like, why are you so traditional? I'm like, I want to live long. My mom calls me out on it all the time. I just said I relate more to the mom, Jin's mom, than like Jin. I was like, Mom, I want noodles. She's like, okay, what else do you want? I'm like, I want a boiled egg. And she's like, I'm like, yes, that's all I need. That's all the need for tradition. So I love that there was a talk about the noodles during that point. But we find out that, he's like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to hang out with friends, which is kind of nice because it seems like, he just kind of wants to get away from his family drama. And I totally get that as like at that age and having those kind of issues. So his girl crush, Amelia, like, plans a whole party. They go to a bowling alley, and there was mentions of, I did like the joke about the whole Panda Express because like I thought it was funny because I love Panda Express, but it's like so generic because I am Chinese. And I love like, they make wei-chen wear like the I love Panda like Express shirt too. But yeah, so up until this point, what do you guys think of the episode? Mike.
Okay, so this is falling into the Disney territory basically because it just, let's have a party, and it was sweet. This was probably one of the sweeter episodes as well, because we get to see Jin finally, like you were saying, get away from the family drama, kind of drop his guard and be with this collective of friends and everything like that. So it was a nice episode. Yeah.
How about you, Kenji?
Oh, I definitely I definitely appreciated this kind of moment to see, like, like just seeing Jin just being able to be just a normal kid,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I relate a lot to Jin in a lot of aspects because but but just like even like his personality being like, just being extremely like standoffish, not wanting to cause any, not
Mm-hmm.
trying to make waves, but but still like butting heads with his parents, um, and also agreeing to way too many things that he really can't agree to, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way, but I will. It was great to see him like having like this nice little slice of life, just like being normal thing. However, I feel like such a jaded adult because now I'm just like, oh, I know who paid for this episode. So like that's sponsorship right there. Like there are 4 boxes of Panda Express in that shot, like and a T-shirt. Like I know who paid for this episode.
We're expanding
The craft
Express's own.
services right there, basically too.
Oh gosh.
Panda Express is owned by a Taiwanese American family.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Um
Okay.
so if
So
you're
was
like
that ironic then? I guess.
like I've talked about like before, like like the whole idea of like is Chinese Panda Express Chinese food. It's like a huge debate. There's like no answers to it. I say yes, but anyways, but we do actually get more in this episode. Is very interesting, is because we finally get a like in a way kind of a showdown, like a pre-showdown. We get like we have like Jigo, of course, stumbling into the thing, picking fights with kids, and then he turns and it's like, oh, it's Nyomo Wan behind him. He's working with Nyomo Wan. Jigo's a bad guy, which I'm not happy about. And then there's like an epic fight, and of course, like you see that I already like I don't know. This show is in a way getting so cliche to me. Like everything is getting so predictable, and I think that's kind of what also probably one of the reasons why like everything we want from this show is happening. It's because it's so predictable. When you see that like the rats, like the little mouse scurry bite, I'm like, that's Sun Wukong. Lo and behold, it was Sun Wukong. We get an epic fight, but we also do get to finally see Sandy, which we only had a glimpse of her before in like that one episode when like wei-chen was like yeeted back to heaven. But we do actually see her like in a fight, and it's really interesting to see how she's portrayed because usually the Sand Demon is probably the most ignored out of all the trio compared to like the monkey and the pig. So it's really nice to see her and then doing all that fight, and then of course like Sun Wukong gets stabbed, and apparently it's the mirror that that was introduced in like the second or third episode. Excuse me. I just personally felt like this like build up to that was kind of weird because I didn't know what was happening. Like apparently, remember like the episode where like Guan Pusa and like the Nyomo Wan was fighting, and like they zoom into the mirror and it was broken. Apparently, that was the mirror that he put on the staff, and I didn't notice it until now. What did you guys feel? I thought I was kind of like, what's going on? Kenji, what did you feel about that?
It it's it was it was a it was such a subtle thing that I feel like the payoff for it wasn't wasn't it was just it was one of those things. I mean, to be honest, I forgot where that I forgot where the mirror came from until you said something. I literally was like, oh man, I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know when did this happen. Um, and sure enough, you're telling me it was like episode like, and I was like, oh, okay. And I will say like there were ways that I mean I understand that the rat has to be Sun Wukong because he has the ability to like transform and stuff like that. But the Sun Wukong skill that I want to see is him pulling off his hairs and making a bunch of Sun Wukong. Why
Right?
haven't
Oh
we
my
seen that
gosh.
skill yet?
Because
Where
it'll
were
cost too
you in
much
the writer's
money.
room? Come on.
I mean, look, literally Naruto bites Journey to the West with this move. It's literally biting this technique and is like stealing it 100%. It is trademark Journey to the West shit. It is like we need that moment. Yes, Jinguban needs to like stretch and do all these things, but we also need the flying cloud, and we need the clones. We need the clones and the flying cloud.
Right? No. This time we get like we get a kitty sword. That sword looks so jank when it like manifests. I was kind of like, really? You couldn't something cooler? But Mike, what do you feel about at this point? Like, with the whole like build up and everything.
Like you said, like Kenji was saying, it just like the payoff wasn't, what I expected, and it's just like, oh, okay. I practically forgot a lot at this point. I'm like, should I even bother to go back at certain episodes? Because I just there are these things where I like, okay, with other Disney Plus streaming shows, like, okay, I can go back and look at it, and like, oh yeah, that was connected to that. But for here, it's just like, I don't care. Whatever. I just want to move on to the next episode. And I guess that's why they dropped them all at once, because it's just going to binge through it and we're going to forget about it later on. And that's how
it was me. It was me all along.
But yeah, and then since you spoke about the sword, it just reminded me of, the rubber sword from Game of Thrones. Basically. It was...
All right.
He might have was just like, oh, the sword is like waving around. Like, what's going on?
At least this one's CG. This one didn't. But yeah, like I did really like the epic like fight scene. I enjoyed the fight scene a lot. I just feel kind of bad for Amelia because I'm like, dude, she's gonna have to pay for all those damages. Like, or her parents are gonna have to
address that though. There's like no repercussions for any damage that they cause. Like,
have you noticed there's been no repercussions whatsoever for this whole show? The fact that Jin shoplifts in the first episode, like everything.
He breaks it, and then there's no like. I thought there was usually like ink or something like that. And how did he get past that anyway to begin with?
Oh, everything is falling. Oh my God.
How did you just break your mic?
Oh my God, did I break my mic? I dropped my like phone stand and everything. Everything's on the phone.
Oh my gosh. Look what I caused.
It's fine. No, this is perfect. This is what we need.
You're right. He gets past the security thing. It doesn't go off, and then it doesn't have any ink in that. It's like,
right?
What kind of story is this? I want to go to that store and rob everything. Like, I don't endorse stealing. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, we're not condoning that, guys. We're not. But it's like, no, legit. There has been no repercussion unless he had like foil, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't, and his bag. I don't know how he got out of the store. I don't know how his mom didn't notice. I'm sorry. Asian moms have like the
eyes in the back of their heads.
Yeah, they're like Sun Wukong where they can see through everything. I don't know how his mom didn't notice. Anyways, there has been no repercussions in this show, and that kind of like makes me mad, not gonna lie. But there are good things. I know we're like hating on it. We're not really hating on it, but like it's not bad. But it's just a lot of things that could have.
It's open to criticism.
It's open to criticism. Thank you. But yes, and then and then in order to, I guess, for a ransom, Nyoma Wang takes the critically injured Sun Wukong away, and you have just wei-chen sitting there like the whole time. He just sits there. And of course, party ends. The fact that no one suspected anything, no one got injured, that staff didn't go to that room because of like any like there's no security. But
it's a lot of loud music playing, so nobody notices anything.
I guess so. I guess if you go to a bowling alley, it's kind of hard to hear things. I guess everything's getting knocked over anyways. But we get to that end of this storyline with like wei-chen going like he took him, and the Jin is like who? It's like my dad. And then we get like the scene with Jamie where he's teaching the Shakespeare, and then he gets a call from his agent saying that they want to reboot the show because of the recent popularity in it, because of like memes and stuff. And he talks about like, do I have to say the line? And I love and hate that there's no straight answer from the agent, because that they want him to say the line. We all know that they want him to say the line.
Yeah.
So how I think again with these last two episodes, this is probably the storyline that I care about the most, which is kind of sad because there's build up for other ones, but this one hasn't. But I care more about this. So, Mike, how did you feel about this part of like
I like you said, this is the only part. Well, aside from Jin and his family dynamic and Jamie, these are the only two stories I actually care about because they, despite their efforts to bring a fantastical story and make it human, I really don't care about that. I want to see how Jamie's life has progressed since he retired from that role, and how that is so much of a reflection of the world we live in today, especially with the Hollywood industry. So those are the kind of stories I really care about, and they're not just giving that much attention to. And when they do pay attention to it, it's so far into the deep end of the other stuff that it's just like, no, I want more of the Jamie story, but we don't get enough of it. So
yeah. How about you, Kenji?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't understand why we have this Jamie story in this show, because you could literally make an entire show just based on the whole Jamie situation. And I think it would be so awesome to watch. Like, it would be so great to watch. Like, they've done so many of like those, you see so many comedies of like, oh, the cast from the old show is getting back together, and it's like I think they just recently did one called Reboot, and it was like which
I think it was on Hulu
think,
or something like that. Yeah,
I don't know how it did. Just the fact that we can't recall where it is even on goes to show how it did. There's also other shows that they've done where it's like, or it's like it's the these people were famous in this made up show back in the day. Well, this is how they are now, kind of thing.
Oh,
All
BoJack
of them have
Horseman.
been, BoJack Horseman.
BoJack
Or
Horseman.
Like, I mean, there's even like
they did that too. They were trying to reboot that show, BoJack Horseman. In the show, they were trying to reboot the show. Yeah,
but there's so many. There's also like I can't even remember some of them were like, there was one where it was like there was like people who were like the character. It was almost like a Thundercats parody, but it's like they're in the live action world. I can't, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, but anyways, it's always been like a comedy thing, but we've never actually gotten like a serious kind of like somewhat realistic take on these stories. And I feel like this story, it would be a phenomenal one to actually really flesh out. Like, to be honest, like even if we don't get a season 2 of ABC, I would very much like to see like possibly a spin-off series for
Jamie.
For Jamie's
I would
character.
like to see them. Yeah, I would like to see them do a flip on it. Actually, focus more on Jamie and then give like 2 minutes to the Kong story.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett it, where,
oh my god.
Where like, where we only really invest just a little bit of time on like the main character, but then like the rest of it is this B character that like is so much more interesting.
I hope Daniel Critten's watching this. Like, do that for season 2. Just focus on Jamie's story and give one.
Because the fact that this show, American Born Chinese, is based on the comic book, which is talking about like how someone like, like first generations like deal with that. And I feel like Jamie's story portrays that so much better than this whole fantastical of like, oh, like I guess like it's just fantasy adventure. It's just like it's a very standard like fantasy trope. It's a very standard like, oh my gosh, we got to do this before something happens. So I feel like Jamie's story tells better for like as an ABC or as like an American born like immigrant, that his story is so much stronger and it portrays so much and it carries so much more weight than being like, oh my gosh, I am just a teenage boy trying to survive in the Western society, and suddenly I have Sun Wukong's son, like, messing with my like status quo.
Like even Jamie could have been the guide, and like the problem ends up being that, hey Jamie, I really need you to be here so that we can talk to my dad, Sun Wukong. I have an audition that I need to go to, man. Like, my career is on the line. I'm sorry.
I agree. So I
I
feel
like
like
that.
yeah. No, right?
I
Jamie
like
should have been
that.
the main character.
Like I
Jamie
said,
should
Kenji should be in the writer's room.
talk to Lucy Liu.
This J.K. Simmons the thing. Just scrap, scrap, go scrap, and scrap. Let's make a crap.
Double crap. Yeah, make a crap, double crap.
Double crap.
Oh my gosh. So overall though, like how did you guys feel about these two episodes in comparison to like after watching it, after like thing, how do you guys feel? What do you guys want from, because there's only there are only two more episodes left. This we're already towards basically we're in the like 2/3, we're 2/4, 3/4 of the way in.
3/4 of the way.
Three, yeah. I'm like, I can't do math. I'm a bad Asian. Anyways, we're 3/4 of the way in. How did you guys feel? What do you guys want to see in these last two episodes? Because everything needs to wrap up at this point, hopefully. So, Mike, what did you feel? What do you want to see from it?
How do I feel about this show thus far?
Thus far.
Thus far, it works in vignettes. I will say that the stuff that works in that moment, it works, but as a whole, it does not. And I wish that the show figured out what it wanted from us, or what it wants us to feel, because right now I'm not feeling anything except in those specific moments. Like I really feel for Jin, like hurting because he sees his parents fighting, and I know he wants to get away from that, but I know that that's his only family unit, so he wants to keep everything together. I feel for that. I could understand Wei-chen's quest and his need to find his identity, but that's not working. So what I'm basically saying, I wish there was a more cohesiveness to it rather than getting in these small moments. So I hope it wraps up the story in a way that there is it pays off well, but I'm not, expecting too much thus far.
I see. How about you, Kenji?
Well, it's interesting. It, I want this story. It's just there's a. I agree with Michael because like in the individual aspects of it, it's like the Jin story of it. The Jin story of it is really good. It's pretty. It tells a great story. The Wei-chen story of it. The Wei-chen storyline is really good. The parent storyline is really good. Like these individual like you said, like these vignettes of these stories are really good, but it they're not able to find a way to make it cohesive. It does seem like it seems like there's like four scripts that were handed in the room, and then they brought in a fifth team to go try and tie it all together, and it's like it's not working very well. And what's really sucks is that I mean, I also feel like this. Even I know that there's a lot of like you know um there's a lot of like there's a lot of pride with like I'm not trying to say anything like possibly like how could you possibly say this, it's like how dare you kind of thing. It's like there is like there is a lot of I understand there's a lot of cultural pride and like with it being with tied to like Journey to the West and stuff, but despite it being probably the most famous you know piece of literature.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe flat out, especially in Chinese culture, but maybe in the world even. I talked to a lot of people. Some people have never even heard of Journey to the West. So but I feel like you could like we were talking about like how like Jamie's story like really captures the plight of the Asian American in modern society, better than Jin's story does. It's like I feel like maybe there may have been a way to do this with Jamie's story, but maybe like cutting out the Journey to the West aspect of it, like, or maybe just having the Jin story of it. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I understand that it's a graphic novel and these are the things that are in the graphic novel, but as far as like the story that's being told,
Yeah.
I feel like in order, even with having an Asian lead character, Asian lead, you could reach a much wider audience without kind of like this barrier. Because it almost kind of feels like I'm watching some of this, and it does seem like you kind of have to know.
Yeah.
You have to know the lore to be able to be like, oh, I know who that is, because like I was watching it with my friend who compared the show to Chinese Supernatural, which I was like, that's actually kind of close, because like, you know, you have like the gods and the demons like fighting it out to say for power and stuff. But he was saying, but like there were times where like, you know, they were pausing, going, hold on, who is that? You know, even my girlfriend was going like, who is this person and what is their relationship to all this? And you kind of have to know the lore to really for it to work. So
agreed.
I mean, for as bloated as the show is, I wish they would have spent more time explaining those aspects of the characters.
No, very much so. I agree. I feel like the show, I think its target audience is too niche. Like it wants to like be like, oh, like cohesive enough for like everyone. But again, like for me, like the reason why I'm so like at least understand what's going on is because I'm very much into Chinese culture, Chinese mythology, and that kind of stuff. But for someone who's like, if I actually ask my sisters, they'll be like, what the heck is going on? They wouldn't know. It's too niche, and I feel like that does do them like a disservice. I also feel like they're trying to make up for how terrible Mulan 2020 was. I feel like they're trying to make up for that.
But they're not doing a good job with it.
It's like they're trying
to. Not there. That's why.
Exactly.
They wouldn't let me in the room anyways. I'm the wrong kind of Asian to be in the room for that anyway.
I don't know.
So.
Susie
I don't know.
Nakamura,
you've been saying the right thing so far. I mean,
Susie Nakamura's played by like Rosalie Chang, so.
But that's the only time when it's okay.
Go into comments really quick. Cue Ball's like thumbs up, and then Nom Talk OMG, Parent Trap, Aladdin, Hercules, the list goes on, talking about the whole trying to reconcile parents thing. Nom Talk Negra's like, it's very Western, and Cue Ball's like, my dad on my birthday, he would make me either his famous fried chicken or his famous cheeseburger wraps baked. Oh, that sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, Q. I want that. Anyways,
I want those like Asian style like chicken wings, you know, where it's just like the wing, it's like the elbow is just like all crispy. It's like just salt and pepper and MSG. It's all it is. It's on there, and you just eat it.
And then it's so crispy that you can start chewing on the bones, and it just breaks in your mouth, and
eating the cartilage too. Oh my gosh.
You're like,
cartilage. Come on.
Westerners sleep on cartilage, but I'm like, that's the reason why Asians. It's why Asians don't raisin. It's collagen right there. Chicken feet.
It is.
That's why they put it in the show, right? Even they had chicken feet, and the son was like, "I don't want to eat chicken feet."
Right.
So.
I talked about this.
That's right.
No, legit.
Well,
that's
like again, like I said, there was a setup. And the payoff ultimately in the end just didn't live up to the
exactly. I think like the first couple episodes did so well portraying like Jin's like turmoil between like, you know, tradition and thing, and I feel like it lost a lot of it in these last couple episodes.
Yes,
it lost a lot of that, and of course we still do get that the Asian aspect, but we get it more from the parents, but we lose a lot of it with Jin, and I'm not sure how to feel about that. I like that it kind of reflects his like wanting to step away from the traditional, but at the same time I feel like it doesn't portray that turmoil as strongly as it did in the beginning. But I guess that's it. I think like we covered these 2 episodes pretty well. It wasn't bad. Like I don't hate it, but it's just I feel like it's it's too much.
I would recommend it, but I wouldn't give it a rewatch.
Yes, I would say that. I think that's perfectly like I actually tell people like, you know, because people always like they do ask me like, you know, oh, would you like, how do you feel? I'm like, watch it. It's not bad. I actually don't hate it, and that's actually really when it comes to me, because I tend to hate things really easily now, apparently, if it's not portrayed right. But I tell people it's like, you know, just watch it. It's not bad. It's not bad. And I think that's the best compliment I can give it at this point. But yeah, so let's see. I think You guys good on your? Oh yeah, no. I want to watch one more thing. Kenji, do you have any expectations? Because everything you wanted expectations from this show has come true. I want to see his expectations, like what, like realistic expectations. So it like see what'll happen in the next 2 episodes.
I know. So I'm trying to think. It's hard to say because we just started seeing Jamie, and I'm just like. So I'm like, I swear to God, this guy, oh my God, oh my God, this is gonna be so like this is gonna be so out of left field. I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me? Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna be so out of left field, but what if it turns out that the boar demon is actually working for somebody else, and that person is actually Jamie?
Oh, I don't know. Is that? I don't know. Can Disney do that? I know. Can we? Please?
Okay, that's the only thing where it's like, why are we introduced to Jamie so late in the game, and why is it that we are, and also we are building him up to be so sympathetic for this character. So like it would be a very interesting rug pull if it turns out he's actually like the biggest douche in the world.
The big bad.
He's actually the big bad for sure. Like I think that is just me pulling the wildest speculation out of my butt.
I thought like what could go wrong, like pushed him off the edge.
Oh, that's how episode 7 ends. Is just is him holding the Jingu Bong saying, "Come on, Sun Wukong, what can go wrong?" And then roll the credits. Roll the credits. I mean, that's the thing. That's the only way that I can see this going.
Okay.
Because I feel like it has to kind of tie up everything in a bow, so that you could, I mean, tie up loose ends, but also leave room open for continuation.
Yes.
Which, of course, probably
may or may not
happen.
Yeah.
It really depends. Maybe for all we know, we're the only ones that are like dunking on this series, and everyone else is actually loving the hell out of this.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I like if you look at groups on like Facebook, what was that? I'm in like Subtle Asian Trades, ACN, Asian Creative Network. Everyone loves this show. Everyone does love this show. Yeah.
So we're just being the contrarians of the internet right now.
Yes.
And we're just like,
we're in the wrong. But yeah, it's okay. As I say, I don't hate the show. I don't hate it, and that's already a huge compliment to the show from me. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think that's it. So that's all the time we have today for episodes 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. We got
2 more.
Only 2 more. 1 more show. But episodes 5 and 6 of American Born Chinese, where you can find on Disney Plus. Thank you all for tuning in. And be sure to join our Discord to keep the conversation going. Shout out to my amazing guests. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Let's see. Let's start with Kenji. Tell us where people can find you on the socials.
Oh, well, you can find me at Kenjinator on Instagram and TikTok. You can also find me on Twitch at the Kenjinator. I'm also part of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign at KD in LA. Right now, our Dungeon Master is currently down under. He is working down in Australia, so we actually don't have a schedule yet, because when you're 16 hours difference in time, it's a little hard to try and schedule a proper thing. So as soon as we figure that out, we'll let you guys.
Awesome. And Mike, where can we find you on the socials?
Wait, there we go. Okay, you can find me at I am Michael J. Lee on all socials, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find my writing at That's It LA, We Live Entertainment, or with thenerdsofcolor.org.
Awesome. And you can find me. Where can you find me? I don't even know at this point. You can find me here on Twitch. I don't know anymore.
We can find us bagging on.
Bagging on the show.
On the show. Every Friday.
Yes, every Friday. Well, one more episode.
Or at least one more episode.
But you can find me here on Twitch at My Hamachi, where I stream Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can also find me on YouTube at Jade, where I make videos about Chinese history, Chinese tradition, Chinese folklore, anything Chinese, basically. You can find me on the YouTubes, and you can find me on other social media such as Instagram, TikTok, and all that fun stuff, either at My Hamachi or at Jade Yaya. And I want to say that you can also listen to our Pika.
Number 2.
You can listen to our show on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. You better be following us here. You can find it on all our platforms at Nom Talk Network. Tune into our next show, which will be on Monday with Jurassic Park. Oh my gosh. Ooh,
classic.
That's gonna be fun, especially after that Godzilla thing we did last month.
Holy effing shit! It's a dinosaur.
Oh wow!
What the hell?
Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Yaya, and yeah. Until then, have a phenomenal day. 再见啦，拜拜。